Sarah, what is the topic?
Sex education prevents teenage pregnancy.
All right, audience, are you ready?
Yeah.
Sarah, are you ready?
Yep.
And proceed.
On November 15th, 2021, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, an organization that focuses on public health, stated that the US teen birth rate is substantially higher than in any other Western industrialized nations. Teenage pregnancy can have a negative effect on our youth. The previously cited CDC article states that the children of teenage mothers are more likely to have lower school achievement and drop out of high school, have more health problems, be incarcerated at some time during adolescence, give birth as a teenager, and face unemployment as a young adult. Over the years, there have been many efforts in the United States to help reduce teenage pregnancy. One of these efforts is sex education. Sex education can help reduce teenage pregnancy. This can be proven by looking at the national statistics of teenage pregnancy in relation to sex education, the way those statistics vary with each state, and how the type of sex education being offered can change its effectiveness. To start, it's important to look at the national statistics for teenage pregnancy in the United States and how they've changed over the years. The Office of Population Affairs, a branch of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, stated in 2021 that in 2020, the teenage birth rate was down 8% from 2019 and down 75% from 1991. This shows that since sex education has started to be implemented, the teen birth rate has gone down. They continue to say that this lower birth rate can be credited to an increased use of effective contraceptives by adolescents. This means that by educating youth on contraceptives and sex education, it can help them prevent teenage pregnancy. Though the rate of pregnancy has gone down as a whole nationwide, the rate at which it has gone down can still vary by state. A report given by the National Center of Health Statistics, a branch of the CDC, published a report on May 25th, 2022 that showed the large variation in teenage pregnancies by state. They looked at the number of teenage pregnancies in teen females from ages 15 to 19. The state with the lowest rate was New Hampshire, which had a rate of 5.4 pregnancies out of every 1,000 young females. And the state with the highest teenage pregnancy rate was Alabama, with a rate of 26.5 teenage pregnancies out of 1,000 young females. There is a large difference between those two numbers. And the reason those numbers may be different is because sex education in those states may be vastly different. According to a March 1st, 2023 article from Guttmacher Institute, an organization that works for reproductive rights around the world, 38 states in the District of Columbia mandate sex education or HIV education. This means that not every kid may have access to proper sex education, which may increase their chances of having a teenage pregnancy. The Guttmacher Institute continues to say that only 17 states require the program content to be medically accurate. This means that a majority of American youth are at risk of being misinformed about proper sex education, which can lead to teenage pregnancies and other negative health effects. The previously cited Guttmacher Institute also states that 39 states and DC require the provision of information on abstinence, but only 20 states in DC require provision of information on contraception. This means that more states are informing youth about abstinence instead of actual ways to prevent a pregnancy with contraceptives. Sharon and Richard Hofer, who work for the University of Texas, stated in the American Journal of Sexuality Education in 2017 that while the teenage pregnancy rate declined 28% between 2007 and 2012, this change was fueled not by a decrease in teenage sexual activity, but by an increase in teens' use of effective forms of contraception. This shows that it's important that teenagers are educated properly on the proper use of contraception. So if they're only being taught about abstinence, it's not going to benefit them in the long run. And since more people are being informed about abstinence instead of contraception, that will affect the ability for sex education to help prevent teenage pregnancy. Sex education is a good way to reduce the amount of teenage pregnancies in places like the United States. This can be shown by looking at the national statistics of how sex education has helped reduce teenage pregnancies nationwide. It can be shown by looking at how those numbers still vary by state, largely due to the way that sex education is being provided to students. By providing proper sex education to youth, we can help reduce the amount of teenage pregnancies in the United States and provide a brighter future for our youth.
I got 5:15:47, so
Yeah,
we're gonna do 5:16, I'm guessing.
Was worried about times and
I might have been a little bit slow to jump.
I was gonna say, I just feel that and remind me to put it for those behind on that.
That was persuasive, right?
I think it was fun.
Sarah was a persuasive or informative.
That's persuasive.
Very bad.
Well, that's what I thought, but then Daniel thought it was informative.
Sex education prevents teenage pregnancy. That's a thesis.
The parents, myself, that they haven't raised my cards yet, so I was like, okay, I gotta add stuff and look on there. So I was like, okay, I better add some stuff, so I just kind of like try to reinforce and be as many as the part, and I guess they put two. Yeah. So. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. Mhm. Um, That's about it. I felt like I started decent by the time I got to the second sentence. I pulled myself together pretty well. It's better a lot. It was there at the beginning, and then I started getting them. And so the curve is now bringing me something.
That got on me. I'm sorry.
I managed to find one more hold and blue. Maybe there's one more in my luggage and I checked and there was. I was lucky because if not, I would have been talking the whole time. I need to get my good Ricola. I'm sorry, Macy. Nationwide statistics related to sex education, how those statistics vary, and how the type of sex education we have very community. Also, some of the statistics, the 17, like only require it to be medically accurate. Don't like that. I do not like that statistic.
What was the stat?
That only 17 states require sex education information to be medically accurate.
Well, science.
Yeah.
Sarah, could you repeat them? Because I couldn't hear because Caleb was getting up. I'm not blaming on Caleb, I'm just saying.
Sound like you're blaming it on me.
I'm saying that's why I couldn't hear. That's what
How statistics for sex ed vary nationwide, or teen pregnancy, like, sex education. How those statistics vary by state and how the different type of sex education being offered can change its effectiveness. You hit the end button, right, when you're trying to film it? The video? Okay, yeah, no, you go to plot, no, yeah, you go to plot, what the heck, your space doesn't have the correct capture. That's not good. Can't tell me have a problem.
Log out, log in.
I just logged in, I was just logged out.
Just go to camera and record it. That's really easy.
Just
You
upload
to
it
files.
from your camera.
Yeah, you can do that.
Upload the file. Yeah,
It's really easy.
cool. I like these fixes that we can figure out.
And then that's
I
where you log
couldn't
in.
get the thing.
Okay, what is that there?
I was
What
like
I found is you're better off taking it off.
trying to
the
branch
board.
the stuff yesterday, trying to upload it to the photos, so I downloaded it into the. That bar thing, to try copying and pasting the link that they have there, and nothing was working. Figure it out.
Come on, Cameron, do the focus thing.
What, did
One
you
thing-
ask any of
One thing about
these?
the movie.
No, because I
Oh, that-
was trying to figure it out fast and.
Heck, like zoomed in. and looked at us. I was like, that's-
Try
That was
working on it today?
Yeah.
Because the assignments, the speech isn't done until everything's turned in.
The only really thing about the camera is that it's so hard to get you on screen.
Different types of.
Oh god, it's whole bodies.
Sorry.
I don't know why, if you try zooming out. As far as it can go, it's just that whenever you do video on the iPad, it just automatically zooms in for some stupid reason. It's probably- I just want, yeah.
No, like it teeters because it's uneven.
Tana, when you said upload your other files, did you mean like the sheets we got from everybody else? Did you mean like our note cards?
Yeah, all of your evaluations, what I had in the back.
Do you want to
Which will be
know cards
today.
this time too?
Huh?
You want to know cards this time too?
Yeah, I've put them onto a piece of paper, so you can just scan it with the rest of your stuff.
Okay.
You know, so just scan the whole bundle, essentially.
Alright. Okay, I gotta use Sarah, I'm good.
Made to. Informative, persuasive.
Informative.
Technically, Extemp, if you-
Yeah.
Oh.
We've just been putting
That's
it,
why you've been asking people.
I've just been putting it under here.
What was your top? Okay,
Um,
you'll ask me that.
Give me a sec.
Doesn't say. What's today's date?
I think that's a 20-minute, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So they don't
Alright.
move, right? It's informative.
You good. Macy, what is the topic?
The Great Pacific Garbage Patches. Patch.
All right, audience, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm ready now.
All right. Macy, are you ready?
Yes.
And proceed.
Marco Lambertini, Director General of the World Wildlife Fund International, or WWF, stated, "Not only are plastics polluting our oceans and waterways and killing marine life, it's in all of us, and we can't escape consuming plastics." Now, I'm going to use this quote to directly relate back to the Great Pacific Garbage Patches. Most people don't understand what they are. A lot of people ask what they are and what you can do to help them after they figure out what it is. So what the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is, it's actually garbage patch is. There are 5 because of the 5 subtropical gyres that pull the plastics that have accumulated into the Pacific Ocean by the current, and the wind, because they spin in these circles that are essentially whirlpools, where it brings the water from the lower altitudes up and then the water from the higher altitudes lower because of the rate at which it is spinning. Now, when I'm saying patches, I don't mean like little pieces of fabric that you put on your clothing like they're relatively small. I'm saying that these are the size of islands and they sit just below the surface of the water, so you can actually sail through the patches and not see, you can see the plastic floating above the water, but you don't see the interconnected plastics that are sitting below the surface. Now, the patches themselves are also always changing because of the wind and the current that are pushing them around. So they're never the same size or mass as they were the previous day or week, as well as depending on weather. The senior vice president of the private sector of engagement at the WWF, Sheila Benini, said, "Unfortunately, there are a lot of countries where waste management is not really developed. And this can be seen in some of the statistics. However, it's also a huge problem within our country as itself, as we expedite huge amounts of plastic to use on a daily basis. Now, the problem wasn't truly recognized of plastics until the 1930s, and that's shortly before World War II, which is when plastics became a huge deal because it was a lot easier to get a hold of plastic and produce it versus rubber. So they replaced rubber with plastic during World War II, and then it only skyrocketed from there. In fact, there was 6.3 billion tons produced in the 1960s, 20 plus billion per year in the 70s, and then 59.4 billion in the 1988. By 2014, there was 5.25 trillion tons of plastics being put into the ocean, which is equal to 244 metric tons of gas emissions from gas-powered cars. Now, by 2018, the number had gone down significantly to 9 million. However, this is done through the effects of washing your plastic, coming up with the solution of recycling, and being more mindful of what you use and straying away from plastics itself, as there are more substances that you can use instead or substitutes. And there are other ways to help the environment as well, such as using organizations. To quote the previously stated Sheila Benini, Senior Vice President of the Private Sector Management at the WWF, sometimes an issue can go for a long time and nothing happens. Then suddenly, boom, the world wakes up and we have the opportunity to drive change. And a way that, outside of just washing your plastics and straying away from plastics, you can also volunteer or donate to some charities. Some charities being the Ocean Cleanup Crew, which is aiming to get rid of 90% of the plastics in the ocean by 2040. Clean Ocean Action and the Ocean Conservancy, which are trying to use other ways such as laws, science, trying to implement a more community aspect to it. And the Surfrider Foundation, as well as the previously stated World Wildlife Fund International, but they go outside of just the ocean as well. Now that you understand what a garbage patch is and how it can be helped, as well as the history behind such a boom in plastics, you can go out into your day to make with a better understanding of plastics and how you can help the world. Flip there in the middle of my speech.
And you wrote it out?
Yeah.
Nice.
5/4/68.
I had 5/15/62.
Okay.
Right, and do we, for the works cited page, do we give a copy to you or do we just send?
Yeah, I
it
need
to
that.
them? Okay. I don't know what happened, but a funky printing thing happened where there's a big space in the back between two of my sources, but. Yeah,
Whenever you send it, you have to save it as a
Yeah.
unless it ships everything go back.
yeah, and, like I had it set up correctly and then I had her printed and then the way that it was set up shifted, so now it's.
having some issues with this.
So I do have it where it's set up with the indents, but it didn't print that way. When I did it in the library,
I mean, for instance,
should I just go print it later, like ask Mr. Shinsky to print it on a different printer, see if that works?
yeah, you could ask her, get with her next hour, right?
Yeah,
Ask her to maybe put it on the one,
yeah.
by the sixth graders.
Yeah. Yes.
More than like got to.
I might have accidentally skipped it when I was seeing it. Cause I know I originally had it in there. But I might have skipped it when I was talking about it, because I got some flustered.
It seemed like that. That time. Things got. Started.
Yeah. Well, that's when my contact.
Oh, that's good. Like I said, and this is this time.
Yeah.
What brings are you doing pretty well?
Up and did that.
Maybe this is why.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's when like my contact started to flip, so I think that's why I was starting getting flustered. Thank you. My main point, so it was, what is the what are the Great Pacific garbage patches, the history, well, like the statistics of garbage in the ocean, and then, what you can do to help.
The second one, what is garbage? First statistics is garbage.
Yes, statistics of garbage, I think you know what the garbage is, Caleb, not gonna explain how you create plastic. I was thinking about going that route, but then I figured it would be too long.
Yeah, and your final one was how to become it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that might be nice.
Daniel, do you want to use a desk for?
That's what I was gonna say, I'll probably use the desk. Can save you on with that one or whatever.
I must say, like, I thought my money's were on this, is this included in baseline funds? I can use it, so I'm probably gonna have to need it for some time. I have my. I only have to FaceTime friends for 3 hours, like, I'm probably a 5-hour call.
I remember FaceTime during class.
I had a couple online parties where I would play the videos and we'd all sit and talk about it and yell at each other and emoji towards one another. It was fun. And the game.
Game.
Back here, no, there's the back game.
I heard myself like gabbing once,
Yeah.
and I heard it, like, sticking hard in the phone, that was.
Grab the bag, go up to the cabin, go out. on the porch.
That's more Canadian than Minnesota.
You might never part of, what's the one?
We hung out with a certain group of my friends when we all get, there's like 4 or 5 dudes when we get together. It gets bad.
Thank for that.
I went out to Epcot once, there was like a Canadian pavilion, and they're playing the end of the spiral. I went into the shop and I'm like, half of the stuff we sell here, we sell at 523. It's all
Yeah, that is so
Buffalo
true. It's just buffalo plaid
Plaid. It's just
everything.
Buffalo Plaid. I'm like, I'm at home.
None of that, that's, I wanted to print double sided on something anyways.
Have a computer.
We don't need to.
We're just
need
like
a
subculture.
outline for this
We're
one,
the
but
Amer-
yeah, I was
you're
gonna
the-
Whatever works for
the
you.
US version of Canada.
Yeah, I was at the point of the United States Pavilion, I think it's stupid, so don't go with it.
We gotta get going pretty soon here. We're running out of time.
So when I press the plus, what was it that I need to?
Griffin, are you gonna be watching the car?
So add new,
Very nice one.
express capture, right?
Yep.
And then would it be okay, cancel it if I took these during 7th hour to do, scan them in the office?
I have to finish my game first, so tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah.
That
Do you
works.
want it? Let's see.
I'll just
wanna
put it on
see
to you
it.
now though, so that way I don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
when we walk out.
You ready? You wanna turn it so it's.
You got
like
charge?
straight on. Let's say, so it's like,
Let me just take pictures of them real quick.
and then
Well, I'll make. a
that is
copy of
over
it.
the start recording, so
Okay.
you just wanna tap it.
Copy of that in here.
this. Is it okay if we move all of it like over like 2 inches? Matter, nothing,
Mine's good.
so.
That works.
All right.
Works for you.
Daniel, what is your topic?
What is leadership?
Griffin, you get on cards? No. Audience, are you ready?
Yeah.
Griffin, are you ready? Daniel, are you ready?
Yes.
And proceed.
What is leadership? Today I'm going to inform you on what leadership is. I'm going to tell you the definition of leadership. Some of the qualities, 8 of them specifically, that you should have, and drawbacks if you overuse or underuse those qualities. First, I'm going to define what leadership is. Tech Target, last updated March 2023, stated leadership is the ability of an individual or group of people to influence and guide followers or members of an organization, society, or team. So, in other words, it's a person or group that helps a group. You can use that in every day. Many great leaders, from Winston Churchill, Gandhi, even Martin Luther King Jr., have used great qualities that they've had to be great leaders. You could strive to be a great leader, and the more you strive to be a good leader, the better you're going to be. It's different for everyone, But I'm gonna go through what a good leadership and the 8 qualities that I have noticed and have researched to be the best qualities. But first, according to previously stated tech target, great leaders inspire people, motivating them to do what it takes to achieve leaders' goal and organization's goals. Former US President Dwight D. Eisenhower articulated this idea when he said, leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. But what are the 8 qualities, according to Harvard Business School, that you should have? Self-control, tenacity, boldness, honesty, focus on results, confidence, pragmatism, and decisiveness. These 8 qualities put together can create a strong, well-rounded leader. When you have a strong, well-rounded leader, it is a great way for everyone to come together. And it's not someone that's pushing you around, it's someone that's pulling you ahead. So I'm going to break down these 8 qualities. Self-control. As a leader, you want to have control over yourself and slightly over others, but not where you're forcing them to do things, obviously. If you control yourself, you're going to be able to control your own thoughts over what you want the group to do. You're going to be doing what's best for the group, company, and friends. Tenacity, determination, being ready to get things done. Because when you're there to get things done, you're going to do a good job and you're going to be ready to work hard. Boldness. This is another very important quality because when you're bold in your decisions and you have good, bold new ideas, you're going to get stronger feedback from your employees or even other leaders. Honesty. We've all heard the phrase, honesty is the best policy. Well, especially in leadership, because if you're honest with your people that are following you, they are going to want to be working for you and they're going to trust what you do. Focus on results. Don't focus on what has been, focus on what will be. Focus on the top of the mountain that you're climbing. Focus on what you want to get to. If you focus on what you're going to get to, you're going to be able to get to the best and even strive for greater. Strive to become greater. Confidence. Confidence is key. If you're confident about everything you do, you're going to be shown as a stronger, more dependent person. Especially when you're working with other leaders, confidence is the most important. That's what sets you above everybody else. Pragmatism. Problems are going to happen. Every day you have small problems. Maybe you have a button that breaks on your shirt and you have to sew it back on. It'll be the smallest thing. And you need to be able to be ready for those small problems and solving them. The most important thing is decisiveness. When you have decisiveness, you can decide things, such as simple things between a bowl of cereal and a bowl of oatmeal in the morning. Now I'm going to quickly break down a few of these 8. Self-control. If you're too controlling over yourself, you might end up becoming controlling over others, and that'd make it so it seems like you're a control freak or too upset about the thing. And also, another thing that has to do with this is honesty. If you're too honest, you might become brutally honest and hurt people's feelings, and they're not going to want to work with you because of that. If you become too focused on results and you're too confident, people might be thinking you're egotistical. If you're egotistical, no one's going to want to work with you. Now, I'm going to share one more quote with you. In the summer of September 12th, 2022, Dr. Jennifer Varney of Southern New Hampshire University stated, "A leader empowers others, unleash their abilities to act on behalf of their area of work or expertise and provides them with an opportunity to grow and improve." Thank you.
Yeah.
Recording.
Oh, that's not.
I was gonna say something.
What do you say?
5'11", 27.
Yeah, 5'10", 63.